just want to see the president of America, and it sounds so good in your ears, and you feel so good about it, and you think that that president is the one running everything in this nation, and that's why the nation is strong. No, people, everyday people in their little communities, building systems, coming up with chambers of commerce, having your local commissioners come around and understand what that community is facing in terms of business. This kind of cooperative effort builds a conducive environment where the citizens within their community get it right. And that kind of culture, if a leader comes out and becomes the president, we are not even worried about that because the individual is upright and they came out of our community. This will not pass us by because we intend to make it different. You guys have made us to lose trust. Like we don't even trust each other anymore. The kind of suspicion among Anglophones or Cameroonians for the past 7 to 8 years is out of proportion. This is not us. People live in fear, confusion. Nah, this is not us. Somebody shows up and they are advocating that we can look at another part. Oh, they have paid you. This is not us. I mean, like, what is going on? What is going on? The young lady, LeBianca, comes up with a song and she's traveling around trying to make something out of her life. And you're like, oh, you're parading the flag of an enemy. What are you talking about? Everyone from the Anglophone zone should be fit in your mold. No, you cannot do that to a group of people. And you're not even producing any results. For how many years that you claim to be fighting? Your general died and was displayed in the market square. His carcass was there for 4 days in a territory. You claim you are the president, you lead, and yet you cannot come to his carcass or come to his body and come to his aid and give him a befitting burial. You cannot do that. This is not some talk that you have in the bar and then you come around and then you turn on your camera and you make speeches. This is a nation we are dealing with here. I think by now you've realized that it's not just through corruption that President Pobia holds that position. There is some level of competence. You've had loyal soldiers, but you've not been able to produce that result. I think by now you should be learning. If not, we skip this look. You should be learning that he knows something you do not know. And young people, this is how we learn. There's a way you go around your elders to get your point passed across. There's a way you can be disobedient to your elders even. That is why you hear me speak and I'm showing us a different path. But at the same time, respectful. If you don't know how to go around things like this, don't try it. That is why the first thing, they want me to disrespect the president so that I can be like them. They want me to disrespect Ninja Fru, disrespect Angwafo. No, I'm for a change of the regime. I agree. But the way you're going about it now, bro, you will fail big time. Every time you will fail. Even the West have told you that. International community, they've told you that. But yet you do not listen. Right? You're right. And while you're criticizing people, show them something better. And have a plan on how to get there. And articulate that plan with conviction that others feel in their spirit that this is the place they want to go with you. If you do not have the charisma, the strength, the knowledge, the wisdom to do that, you will become Hitler. You will become Hitler. You will move from freedom, like the brother said, to action without going through reasoning and logic to have understanding before you act. You will leave from your freedom to lies, distort the history, and then move to action and make more mistakes. This is what I'm helping the young people to understand. You get it? I heard most of our people like content from Nigeria. At least that is a Nigerian man saying that. That's a man from Nigeria saying that. Don't walk that way. Life is not like that. And they will still say he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's still young. That's probably what they'll say, just like they've said that to me. You probably, if you're 70, maybe you should know better than him, right? And those who go around saying life is about age, that is a big fallacy and a big mistake. To think that your experience in life or you being able to say certain things is based on how old you are. That kind of thinking. Facebook is younger than you. You should have more than him. You should have done more than him because of your age. Alexander the Great was 33, conquered the known world. You should know better than him. You should have done more than him because of your age. Some of you are older than Bill Gates. Some of you are older than Elon Musk. Because of your age, you should have achieved more than him. Your age is the problem. Or you think you are competent based on your age. These are some philosophies that we are challenging so that we can let our light shine. Young people can be able to express themselves and come up with new systems and philosophies that transforms our economy, transforms our community. Not just hold everybody down with your age. The Jesus Christ you go to church to worship every Sunday died at 33. You preach him, you build a global ministry on his name. 33. Never forget that.
His wisdom is more. So this is a wise person. A foolish person also acts wise. Oh, he acts very wise. It's just that he acts foolish most of the time.
Yes.
And he acts wise occasionally.
That's why Ambazonia.
That's a very, very interesting classification, right? This is the first massive project that you guys have handled. And it's a fiasco. The people of Cameroon, both Anglophones and Francophones, will never ever forgive those who started this initiative and what it has led us to. It will take the grace of God, and that is why I'm preaching all of this, including those who are hating the West because of some historical event, for us to learn. Because as you have in unforgiveness in your heart, I want you to remember that others will not forgive you as well. For every action that might be concealed now, they will not forgive you.
Has been very clear. Any negotiations must be facilitated by a neutral international stakeholder or stakeholders. We have models like those of Eritrea, those of South Sudan, and other self-determination conflicts which we have properly articulated. The agreement signed in Canada is still binding on the parties. And whenever Cameroon is ready, it is going to call Ottawa and make itself available on a negotiating table to discuss the resolution of the conflict based on the root cause, which is that of occupation.
It's the root cause based on occupation. The West doesn't want to deal with this problem based on your root cause. They want to deal with the problem based on what they see on the ground, based on the plight of the teachers and the lawyers, based on discrimination. They want to see it based on that. They want to solve the problem based on that premise, not these assumptions. We got to peep the game, guys. We got to understand what is happening out here. We stay in these countries in the West. We got to understand what is going on. We got to be smart to change very fast and understand what is going on out here. If not, we keep traveling out, coming back, the same thing, the same community. Nothing changes except 1 or 2 story buildings that those from abroad have erected. The same society, the same community, the cycle continues. We got to understand the mindset that is moving the world and peep the game and understand what is happening and walk with what works, not with what we know. Do what works and not what you know. Model what works and not what you know. If what you know was sufficient, we would not be where we are. What you know is not working, and that is why we are where we are. You gotta get to that realization, guys. Come on. We gotta get to the place where we agree that what we know and what we have been doing is not working for us. That is redemption. That is a place where change starts. That is where we should be by now. And not still wallowing in this same loop. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Nah.
Any shortcut will not be accepted.
And you still want the same international communities that you think they are corrupt to mediate your crisis. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Do you know how compassionate some of these people are towards us? They have a lot of patience to keep listening to us. They will tell you no in a very polite way. But what they are simply saying is that the way you're going, we cannot work with you. No matter the number of people that show up here, you think you just create these stories, talk among your groups, come present it. No, they are documents. They know the stories. They are not naive. It is a choice. If we choose to go down and perish the way we are going, that is good. Good with the people that want to do that. Some of us, nah. We are taking our destiny into our hands. We are moving the young people to a different direction. We are cutting away from this old pain of the past that has been infiltrated in some of our souls, and we want to be free. The real freedom is freedom from your thinking. Our real freedom is freedom from the way you see the world. Our real freedom is a freedom from the past. Our real freedom, instead of working for the future, we are working for the past. Our real freedom, instead of working for our children, we want to work for the parents. Our real freedom is coming from that. We got to be liberated from that kind of spirit. The spirit that has bind our community, bind us and keep us in this loop. The spirit of division. That is what we should be fighting vehemently in this dispensation. We gotta break loose, young people everywhere. I want to let you know, in Cameroon, in the diaspora, you gotta get away from the spirit of these old folks that have all these ideologies, and they are propagating it to subjugate you into a mindset that will ruin your life, and you will die untimely, or you live in this world just wallowing in pain, looping in the same cycle. You have money in your pocket, it goes out, and you don't know what is happening. You want to start a business, you fail. Why? They will not give you space to think creatively and interact with the world, because they will overwhelm you with historical events and some kind of lofty responsibilities. And all of a sudden you realize you're old and you're singing the same song like them. I don't want any young person in Cameroon to turn 50, 60 and be on the same track. In the 60s, people like Gordon Dinka, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther, they had to break free from the old system. We gotta deviate ourselves. You cannot turn the age you are in right now, and this is when you think your mind can change. Do you just want to accomplish what you have been premeditating your whole life? But we are coming with a revolution. A new way of thinking, a new way of looking at the world, dealing with the world the way it is right now. 2024, right now, and not based on some historical event. You cannot stretch your thinking, go past 1961 and be creative. You cannot stretch your thinking, go past the whole union between the Anglophones and Francophones and be creative. You're stuck there. And because of how old you are right now, I mean, it takes divine intervention to free you up from this kind of thinking. And we cannot help if you don't want to help yourself. But we want to build a community that will even be beneficial even to you. But what you have in your head, from what I'm seeing, can't work. That's why God don't use a lot of people that are old. Most of the time, he always uses young people. See David, young person, brought down a giant. See Joseph, a young individual. Look at Jesus, young. Alexander the Great, young. Martin Luther King, they cited, young. God uses people who can redeem. Nelson Mandela came out united, black and white in South Africa, a young man. God cannot use inflexible people. And if you're following a leader that thinks like this, they are inflexible to change. It's a waste of time. If you have not had a growth mindset after the age of 40, your transformation is hard to come. That's why we say a fool at 40 is a fool forever. You cannot beat that. Take your destiny into your hands, young people. That is my message for you. Very soon, these old folks will need prescription drugs. They'll need a place to stay. If we don't work hard to create even a place where they can be taken care of, or that they will be taken care of, they will struggle. So the work we are embarking on now also have them in mind, even though they don't agree or see what we see now. The work we are starting right now has the IDPs in mind, has those who are on exile in mind, but they don't see it now. But they will thank you tomorrow. They cannot help themselves right now. And you have to look at a situation like this. It's not about their age. It's not about how much they have or the group of young men that they have giving them guns. You got to look at them and have pity on the way they think right now, because you cannot help them. I'm telling you, you got to just find a new path and be walking towards that path, and they will see how the outcome of that path will help even them tomorrow. I encourage you to share this video. Go ahead and keep praying for our nation. Pray for our nation. Even our leaders, from when we were born to now, some of them don't know better. Some of them do not know better. And that is why it takes a lot of forgiveness and reconciliation to make this world work. Because if you want to build based on a particular event that happened in history, life will be tough for all of us. Yeah. So that is where we are going. Join the train. My number is right there on the screen. Get engaged and study. Get your mindset right. Go out there and build businesses. Employ your fellow citizens. That is the formula every nation uses to achieve prosperity. There's no other magic way. Serve government. All right, if you like this video, you're gonna like this other episode, and you can watch it by clicking right here.